Hey there, everybody. Today we're going to be learning about how to do textual analysis, which is also called literary analysis or literary criticism. I'd like to start with a quote from one of my favorite authors, Margaret Atwood. You may know her from The Handmaid's Tale. Anyway, she says that the answers that you get from literature depend on the questions that you pose. So by this, I think she means that the lens that we have on when we're looking at literature impacts what we see and what we understand from it. We each bring our own lenses, or we each ask our own questions of the text. What we bring with us, the lenses we have on, the question we are asking, that impacts what we see or the answer that we get. So if we, for example, are looking for how the text deals with gender roles, we're going to see that. It's going to jump out at us more clearly than if we maybe weren't necessarily looking for that. If we are looking at how the text handles metaphor, then we're going to see that jumping out at us. What we put in impacts what we get out of the text. So, which question are we asking and answering in textual analysis?
Knock, knock.
What? Who's there?
'Tis I, thy humble servant, William Shakespeare.
Oh, wow. Really? Oh, my goodness. This is such an honor, Mr. Shakespeare. Wow, thanks so much for coming to help me teach my students how to analyze your plays.
Lord, what fools these mortals be.
Ouch. That's very nice, man. I mean, are are you saying that I'm a fool for trying to teach literary analysis? I think you're dead wrong there. I mean, I thought maybe you were going to be useful, but now I'm not really that sure. Hey, maybe I don't need your help after all, Will.
From women's eyes, this doctrine I derive. They sparkle still the right Promethean fire. They are the books, the arts, the academes that show, contain, and nourish all the world.
Okay, well, that's true, Will. Books, arts, and academes do nourish the world. These students need to know how to analyze a text. First, because they need that skill for this class, but also because understanding how to analyze a text is a useful skill in the world. Every career path involves some amount of textual analysis, even if you're analyzing the documents you receive from your coworkers. So to go back to the Atwood quote, the first thing that we need to know when we're analyzing literature is that the main question that we're asking in literary studies is, what message is the text communicating? That's what we're trying to figure out in textual analysis. So to do that, we consider all of the components of the text, whether that text is a book or a poem or a film or a television show or a play or a billboard or a public figure.
Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage and then is heard no more.
Yep.
It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing.
But here's where you and I disagree, William. Even a tale told by an idiot has some kind of signification. In other words, even a fool's tale has meaning. All texts have meaning, whether their authors intended them to or not. And it is your text and not you, the author, that communicates that message, I'm afraid, Willie. If it were the author that communicated the message, then there would be less question or ambiguity, and the message would stop when the author died. But that's not how it works, right? In fact, once the author puts the text out into the world, they don't get to control the meaning of the text anymore. The text lives on beyond you, the author.
There are more things in heaven and earth, lady, than are dreamt of in your philosophy.
That's a certain text. What the text communicates is a message, not just an idea or a topic. Love is an idea or a topic, but it's not a message. A message would be, love is always toxic, or love is worth sacrificing for, or love will let you down, so don't do it. A message is a claim about a topic. Love is the topic. What's true about love? What's your claim about love? That's the message.
The course of true love never did run smooth.
Yes, exactly. That's a claim about a topic, Will. Good job. So the answer to this question, what message does the text communicate, is typically called a thesis or an interpretation or an argument. That's your claim. So you make a claim about what you think the text is saying. So you make an argument about what you think the text is claiming about whatever topic. Does that make sense?
There's nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so.
That's right. That's right, Will. It's true that we each bring our own ideas to a text, so it's possible to have as many different messages as there are people, and more. Now, an effective argument is debatable and specific and complex, at least for the purposes of my class. So we'll start with debatable. An argument must be something that others could disagree with. So if you can't disagree with it, then you're really just making an observation about the text, probably about the plot, or maybe about like a quality of one of the characters. But someone has to be able to be like, no, that's not what the text is saying. Once you're in a place where somebody can be like, nuh-uh, then you're with an argument. So in this example, you've got the first one here, which is the Midsummer Night's Dream is about relationship struggles. So that's something that's going to be hard to argue with. It's going to be hard for me to be like, no, it's not, because those things happen and that there's relationships and there are struggles. So it's like really hard to say that's not what it's about. Just like I can't really argue with the fact that the play is about the way fairies interact with humans, or that the play is about performing a play. Like all of those things happen in the play, so the play is about those things. But none of those things are a message. Those are just all topics, things that the play deals with. But your job is to figure out, well, what does it say about play? Performing a play? What does it say about fairies interacting with humans? What does it say about relationship struggles? So it is a debatable claim to suggest that Dream glamorizes sexual violence against women.
It too, Professor.
I said what I said. The next element you need in a solid argument is specificity. So your claim must be specific. Another way of thinking about this is that you must be making a claim about a topic, not just identifying a topic. So it's not yet an argument to suggest that Dream is about desire. Okay, but what about desire? Or even the importance of desire? What about it? What is important about desire? What's true about how desire works according to the play? So I have two examples of possible claims about desire. One, desire makes people vulnerable to abuse. That would be a claim. And another one would be mimetic desire turns us into violent beasts tragically, which is, of course.
But for my own part, it was Greek to me.
Okay, I think you understand more than you let on, Will. Now, I know you are excellent at making it difficult for us to figure out what the message your text is sending, but that's actually what I enjoy about your plays. There are so many threads and so many discourses embedded that for me, it's hard to decide which of the threads is the most prominent, which of the voices that you include speaks the loudest. So I enjoy that kind of ambiguity because it allows for rich interpretations.
Some are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them.
Yes, Will, you did achieve greatness. But I hardly think it was thrust upon you, given that you worked really hard to become a wealthy, famous theater bigwig in your day.
Uneasy lies the head that wears the crown.
Oh, yes. Oh, famous Shakespeare. Anyway, the last element that you need in your argument is complexity. So this will develop as you go. As you develop your ideas in whatever you're writing, whatever writing task it is, your argument's complexity will develop along with that. So in a traditional essay, your argument builds up to like a so what, or the reason that your analysis matters. So to develop complexity, you can always start with the question, why? Why does, for example, desire turn us into beasts? Then you can move into other factors, like, is this true for all people, just certain types of people? Are there things that limit or challenge the way that desire works? Are there desires that don't turn us into beasts? Is it inevitable to become a beast with mimetic desire? And then you can also think about, what are the larger implications? Does this message give us an insight into the world that we can use, into the contemporary world, maybe? And lastly, you can always bring things back to yourself. Like, how does this relate to your own experiences in your own life? Thanks again to Will over here for helping us out with this. Stay tuned for the next installment, which covers how we demonstrate that the text communicates the message we say it does.
More of your conversation would infect my brain.
Well, good thing you don't have to come back for the next part of the lesson, Will. Sheesh.